Man, I really love this desk. It's right in the center of the office. It's perfect for my workflow. It's right in the middle of everything.
Yeah, about that, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and move desks.
Move my entire desk? Why?
See, I'm thinking about buying some rollerblades, and I kind of need this space here for activities. Don't worry though, I found you a great spot. It's back in the Country Today office.
The Country Today, but that's so far away from you and Casper. I thought we were friends. I've been at this desk for years.
Welcome back to LT Sports Extra on LearTelegram.com. I'm Joe Zemer. I'm joined by Justin Harings. We're going to talk about the big story around the state this week, and that's the possible move of the WIA boys and girls basketball state tournaments away from the Kohl Center in Madison. Justin, we poke a little bit of fun at the situation, because obviously the public perception is that the University of Wisconsin is kind of driving the tournaments away from the Kohl Center for their own selfish interests. And whether or not that's the whole case, obviously it isn't completely. There's other factors that go into this, but I think we can both agree that should that happen, to be a real shame, because having these at the Kohl Center is pretty much the perfect situation, isn't it?
It is, and you know, we don't know all of the economic factors about what it would cost the city or how it would benefit the university, and that's one separate issue. But there certainly is a special feel about having the state tournaments in Madison, and anyone that's been down there for any of the tournaments knows that. You talk about the fact that State Street and everything it has to offer is right off from the Kohl Center. It's a 5-minute walk down there. You can go and have lunch with your friends. You see the letter jackets all over the place. There's high schoolers and their families. And those kids are getting down there and experiencing the university in a way that they wouldn't otherwise, and getting a first look at it. And it's not that Green Bay isn't a good city and doesn't have anything to offer. And the Resch Center, we've both been there to cover state volleyball. It's a great venue, and it could hold the state basketball tournaments. But it's fair to say that it's certainly not the same as Madison when it comes to the amenities and the things the city has to offer, especially in that range. It's just not the same feel. And so I can't speak for the economic factors precisely of what it would cost, but at least for the feeling and the thought of being a high school athlete thinking, I want to get to state, I want to get to Madison, those two words usually go hand in hand for those sports. And it would be a real shame if a couple years down the road we're not talking about that anymore.
Yeah, nothing against the Resch Center is a very nice facility. And now they host EW Green Bay basketball, so they can host basketball, but it's not the Kohl Center. And the one thing I hear a lot of people saying is that, well, this is just Wisconsin acting in its own interest, and I don't buy that for two reasons. One, because what they're saying is, what they mean to say is that it's the athletic department acting in its best interest, because this is not the best interest of the university. I'm sure if you ask the admissions departments, they are not happy about this, because you were getting, like you mentioned, all these high school kids, smart kids from around the state, free recruiting visits. You know, they're getting them on campus to see it, and when you're a high school kid and you go down there, you think, wow, you know, I mean, this is Madison. This is the biggest school in the state. You know, this is the University of Wisconsin. And when I was in high school, I was lucky enough to get to go down. My team in New London, we made it in when I was a sophomore and I was a junior. I was there with the pep band. I was still waiting for that growth spurt to kick in. But it was a very wondrous experience. You know, and a few years later, I went to school at Wisconsin. I'm a proud grad of Wisconsin, but I think it's a real shame if it doesn't happen. Because, I mean, this is, as a flagship university, and that's what it is, the flagship of the public university system, there's a certain responsibility, leadership-wise, that goes hand in hand with that. And I think if you turn your back on all those kids and what it means to the whole state, you know, people get behind Wisconsin because it represents the state of Wisconsin. That's why people love the Badgers so much. And I think you are really turning your back on a whole state of people who really enjoy the state tournaments. WIA puts on a great basketball state tournament. It's the best one, in my opinion, and it's a real blast. And I think if that does not happen, it's a real shame.
When I was a junior in high school, the Chi-High girls made it down to state, and there's something to be said for athletes growing up and spending their entire careers thinking not only about state, but Madison and what goes with it. And to lose that tie would be, I think, a real bad thing for the university. Not that place doesn't sell itself in some sense because of how good it is, but at the same time, I think you don't want to underestimate the impact that it has when you grow up as an athlete or a fan of athletics, thinking that much about Madison with that many positive memories.
Exactly. There'll be a lot more discussion here and elsewhere about this issue in the months and years ahead, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching LT Sports Extra. We'll see you next week. So here's the deal. I'm going to need you to move again. Casper just bought a whole bunch of Legos, and he's turning this area into a play area.
Come on, What am I supposed to do now?
Know your role and shut your mouth. I believe I've been more than accommodating throughout this whole process.